And it's time now to get an update on the business news, and for that I'm joined here in the studio by none other than Yuka Roya. Hello, Yuka.
Hi.
And we're starting with a major corporate reshuffle. British Airways CEO is stepping down.
Alex Cruz is stepping down after 4.5 years with British Airways. He'll be succeeded by Sean Doyle, the chief executive of Aer Lingus, according to a statement by IAG, which owns both airlines. No specific reason was given for his departure at a time when British Airways and the industry on the whole are facing an unprecedented crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic. John-Emil Jamin reports.
Bowing out in the midst of a crisis, Alex Cruz is stepping down as CEO from British Airways as the company deals with cutting a third of its workforce. The airline's parent company, IAG, however, hasn't specified the reasons behind the sudden departure, saying only,
"He has led the airline through a particularly demanding period and has secured restructuring agreements with the vast majority of employees."
The last few months have been tough for Cruz, who was tasked with driving through 13,000 job cuts at BA, making him a frequent target of trade union hostility. Analysts suggest that a number of high-profile blunders during his tenure as CEO would also not have helped his cause. An IT failure in 2017 left thousands of passengers stranded, while a 2019 data breach led to the company being fined €253 million.
Over more than 20 years that BA.com has been operating, we've never had a breach of this type. We are absolutely committed to integrity of the data of our customers.
Cruz was also at the helm last year when BA pilots went on strike for the first time, costing the airline more than €137 million. The change in leadership comes at a crucial time for IAG, who have had to raise just over €3 billion to reduce company debt and stave off the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The man stepping into the role, Sean Doyle, worked at British Airways for 20 years before moving to head Aer Lingus nearly 2 years ago. As well as becoming the new company CEO, he will take over the BA chairman role after a transition period, with Cruz remaining as the airline's non-executive chairman.
Well, shares in British Airways' parent company dropped in London following that announcement. IAG shares were down by just over 1% at midday compared to Friday's close. As you can see there, down 1.16%. On broader European stock markets, shares are generally rising this Monday. London's FTSE coming up into positive territory after a negative start. Global investors continue to be cautiously hopeful that a new large-scale stimulus package can be agreed in the United States soon. There's no agreement yet on an international system for taxing the big tech, but the momentum is building. That's according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Nearly 140 countries have been trying to develop rules to make online giants pay tax where they do business rather than where they are registered. The OECD estimates that the change could boost national tax revenues by a total of $100 billion a year. They're also discussing a new global minimum taxation for companies. Although there's some resistance from the United States, the group says it expects to be able to finalize its proposal by mid-2021. American economists Paul Milgrom and Robert Wilson have won this year's Nobel Economics Prize. Both are professors at Stanford University and are experts in game theory, in particular auction theory, and their applications to business and economics. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences says that the coveted prize was awarded in recognition of their work in improving the theory and inventing new auction formats, which are now widely used to sell radio frequencies, fishing quotas and airport landing slots. The Academy praised their work as a beautiful example of how basic research can generate inventions that benefit society. In Uganda, schools are set to reopen this week after being shut down since March because of coronavirus. While public school teachers received government aid, private school teachers have had no pay during the period, and many have been forced to start a new business or change their job.
This little shop in Kakiri, Uganda, is open for business. On the shelves, an array of children's clothes and shoes. It's a new venture for shop owner Brenda Kemugisha. Until March, she had made her living as a secondary school teacher, but all that changed when the coronavirus pandemic hit.
After March, the directors said they couldn't manage to do other payments, so we should look for means of survival.
It makes around $20 a week. much less than her $100 teacher's wages, but critical money at this difficult time. More than 17,000 private schools currently operate in Uganda, employing an estimated 150,000 teachers. Unlike their government school counterparts, private teachers have been starved of aid during the pandemic, forcing most to seek business alternatives. But many are now facing an unprecedented financial burden.
Very distinctly, His Excellency the President of Uganda shared that people who are salaried will not be part of the people to benefit from that.
At Hana International School, these teachers have spotted their own business opportunity, making face masks and learning some important lessons of their own.
So we need to have multiple baskets where we can get money to feed our families. 2, we have also learned that we need multiple skills.
As an aid measure, the Ugandan government had promised a $6 million grant for private school teachers. But waiting for those funds could be a financial stretch too far for many before schools reopen on October 15th.
That was Jean-Emile Jamin reporting there. Now, as social distancing has become the new norm, a Japanese company has come up with a fun way to help people keep a friendly distance between each other. A device developed by Hitachi projects videos of koi fish swimming around a person in a 2-meter wide circle. They escape if people get too close to each other. It's the latest in a string of projection-based social distancing devices, with electronics firms seeing new business opportunities in the field. Earlier this year, Mitsubishi Electric released a similar system, though with no animals involved. It's a rather nice way to know how distant you are.
Yeah, except I would keep tripping over, I think, the fish. That would be my problem. But thanks for that, Yuka. That's Yuka with the daily update of business news. That's it for this edition. I'll be back after a short break, so do stay with us here on France 24.